Hello, Percussion. Today we're talking about eighth notes, 8 on a hand, stick control, and double beat in week 7 of beginner percussion class. Here we go. So let's review the eighth note. The eighth note is a note that gets half a beat of sound. It's made up of 3 different parts, like we said before. The note head, that's the closed circular shape of the note. The stem, that's a vertical line connected to the note head. And then finally, a flag connected to that stem. Each flag cuts the note value in half. An eighth note has 1 flag. And today we're going to talk about the beam as well. Every now and then you'll see eighth notes connected with a beam. Whenever there's 2 or more eighth notes connected together, that's how they're going to be connected, is by that single beam. And so those flags can turn into beams whenever you have more than 1 eighth note connected together. And like we said before, 2 eighth notes occupy the same amount of time as 1 quarter note. And our eighth rest, we'll show it up here on the screen, is equal to half a beat of silence. And it looks like a little slash with a left-facing flag. You cannot, however, have 2 eighth rests in a row that are connected by beams. Only eighth notes are connected by beams whenever there's more than 2 of them. Eighth rests, if you've got multiples of those, they'll just be multiples of eighth rests with the flag there. When we count eighth notes, in quarter time anyway, we're going to use one of 2 main methods. One method is to use the word te in between our beats. So let's say I have beat 1, 2, 3, 4. In between those beats, I'm going to use the word te. I could if I wanted to. 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4 te. For us, we're going to use the word and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And the reason for that is because te is typically used just to help out wind players with their tonguing so that they can work on their articulation. For us, though, percussionists, a lot of times we play very fast rhythms, and so we're going to use 1 and 2 and because we can say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a lot quicker than 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4 te. It's a bit of a tongue twister if we say te. So we'll say and in between our beats. That's how we count our eighth notes. We're not going to dive in too much into step 4 this week. We know that it contains all of those eighth note exercises in there. But instead, we're going to dive mostly into this PDF that I'm going to attach at the video called Eighth Note Exercises. It contains different exercises on it. We've got 8 on a hand. We've got eighth note timing patterns, stick control, and then finally double beat all the way at the bottom there. Let's go ahead and begin with our 8 on a hand explanation. So 8 on a hand is exactly what it sounds like. It's just 8 notes on each hand. We can play 8 on a hand with quarter notes, with eighth notes. We could even play 8 on a hand with whole notes. But typically, 8 on a hand includes 8 notes on each hand at the eighth note speed. And it should be noted here that from now on we will start in the down position for all of our snare drum exercises. So once again, what that means is that we're going to take our hands and instead of being in the up position, we'll just start in the down position here. So let's talk about what that means with 8 on a hand. Our first 7 eighth notes with 8 on a hand are going to be full strokes, while the 8th and final note will actually be a downstroke. The reason is because whenever I play my first 8 right hands on 8 on a hand, I'm going to play those full strokes, and then in order to get back to the down position, I'm going to play my eighth note as a downstroke. That way it looks nice and good and professional while I move on to my left hand. Okay, so once again, our first 7 eighth notes will be full strokes, and then the eighth note will be a downstroke. That also means that every other foot taps at the same time as the stick strikes the drum pad. If you can hear my foot tapping here, and let's pretend we're playing on a drum here. Every other striking of the drum is going to happen at the exact same time as your foot tap. We know what a double stop is. That's when both of our hands hit the drum pad at the same time. We actually kind of do a double stop with our hand and our foot every other note. So that means we can think almost both right, both right, both right, both right, with our foot and our hand being both. And before we play this exercise, let's quickly talk about the crescendo and the decrescendo. The crescendo is a musical term that refers to a gradual increase in volume. For us percussionists, we can control our volume in multiple ways, but the main way is by the height of our sticks. And so when we play a crescendo as a percussionist, we're going to start low and then get higher with our height. The decrescendo is the exact opposite of that. It just starts high and ends low. So we're going to perform our decrescendo and our crescendo by playing 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D in our eighth note exercises, 8 on a hand exercise. 1, 2, ready, go. The next exercise, entitled eighth note timing patterns, is crucial when learning how to flow while playing different rhythms. And what I mean by flow is just how do we look, how do we feel? Do we look and feel relaxed? Then chances are that we're flowing pretty well. Okay. With this exercise, it's important to use the provided natural sticking. And remember, natural sticking is just if I'm on a downbeat, I play a right hand. If I'm on an upbeat, I play a left hand. So for this example, my downbeats will be just the numbered beats, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the upbeats will be the ands. In between those beats, the and of 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And so for this exercise, in order to generate the most flow, we're actually going to use a two-part formula here. The first part says that if the next note on the same hand is a quarter note apart or less, use a full stroke. And then if the next note on the same hand is a half note apart or greater, we're going to use a downstroke. What the heck does that mean? So whenever we play these eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, sure, both of our hands are playing eighth notes together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but if we take a hand away and just focus on, let's say, the right hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, then really the right hand is generating a quarter note in time. Same thing with the left, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If I take away the right hand, those ands are about a quarter note apart. And so let's take this formula and use it in an example. Look at measure 3. The left-hand notes in measure 3 and 4 are a half note away. That's greater than a quarter note away. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. That's a half note away. And so according to our formula, our rule is that we're going to actually play our left hand as a downstroke since it's greater than a quarter note away. So it'll look like this. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Okay? And so use that formula for all of these measures in this second exercise. 1, 2, ready, go. Our third exercise is called stick control. This one's great because it helps us learn to play eighth notes in time while changing the sticking around. A lot of times in percussion, we're going to have to change our sticking, especially with mallet playing, to make the same rhythm sound great on different notes. And a lot of times we want to create different effects on the same surface, like on a snare drum, for example, by playing different stickings with different rhythms. The goal with stick control is to make all of your eighth notes sound exactly the same despite the variation in sticking. We're going to use the same formula as before to dictate full strokes versus downstrokes. 1, 2, ready, go. Finally, with double beat, I recommend experimenting with that by playing full down, full down, full down, full down, full down, as well as just full strokes. Full, 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 and then finishing with a down for beat 4 of measure 2 and measure 4 respectively. 1, 2, ready, go. And guys, that is it for this week. There's a lot to dig into with this eighth note exercises page, but if you need to supplement a little bit here and there with some mallets, go ahead and dig back into step 3A in the beginner percussion book for that. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great week. Happy drumming, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.